Before diving into this incredible story, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, every story has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. The Miami sun bathed the harbor in a golden light, making the water and the hulls of the moored yacht sparkle. On the Ocean Pearl, one of the most luxurious yachts on the coast, everything seemed perfect. The varnished wood shone in the sunlight, the white cushions were immaculate, and the air smelled of the delicate scent of exotic flowers arranged in the main lounge. Emma Langston, the yacht's head waitress, walked confidently across the deck, her heels clicking against the polished wood. Blonde with piercing blue eyes, she had earned a reputation for being authoritarian and inflexible. Her motto, "No customer could disturb her sense of order, much less disturb her in her floating kingdom." That morning, an elegant black man boarded the yacht. He wore a light white linen suit, a calm smile, and his gaze was fixed on the scenery. Emma felt her mood change instantly. For no apparent reason, her mind filled with doubts and judgments. Who was this intruder on this yacht reserved for select guests? She approached, chin held high, and said in an icy voice, "Excuse me, sir, but you can't stay here." The man looked at her in surprise, but without anger. His voice was calm and composed. I just came to enjoy my yacht." Emma's heart was pounding, but her pride and prejudices got the better of her. Without checking, she signaled to the crew to escort him off the yacht. Within minutes, Marcus Williams, the yacht's owner, found himself ejected, humiliated, under the astonished gazes of the guests and staff. Emma returned to the lounge, proud of herself, convinced that she had protected the order and hierarchy of the yacht. She was still unaware that this action would not only disrupt her day, but also mark the beginning of a lesson she would never forget. Marcus Williams stood motionless on the deck for a few moments, under the midday sun. The wind caressed his face, but he felt the sting of humiliation. The yacht's guests, some perplexed, others curious, watched him in silence. Emma Langston, arms crossed and with a stern look, believed she had done her duty. The yacht's captain, a stern-looking man named Thomas Ridley, approached Emma. "Emma, what's going on here?" I'm just enforcing the rules, Captain." This man didn't seem to be an authorized guest, she replied, her voice trembling with an assurance she didn't really feel. Marcus leaned forward slightly and said calmly, "I think you're mistaken. I'm Marcus Williams, the owner of this yacht." Emma gave a nervous laugh, thinking it was a joke. "Very funny, and where is your invitation, sir?" But Marcus no longer smiled. His gaze was now fixed on her with a quiet but implacable intensity. The tension rose when Thomas Ridley frowned. He consulted his notebook, then paled at the sight of the official documents. "Marcus, is that you?" "The owner," he stammered. Emma felt her blood run cold. Everything she had done, every gesture and every order she had given to expel Marcus, had just backfired. The murmurs of the guests grew louder. Some stared at her in astonishment, others with barely concealed amusement. The crew, who had obeyed without question, exchanged embarrassed glances. Emma, for the first time, felt the weight of her arrogance. She tried to stammer an apology, but no words came. Marcus, on the other hand, remained calm and dignified, and left the yacht to enjoy his private terrace. This moment would remain etched in Emma's memory. She had just learned, in the most brutal way, that you can never judge someone by their skin color or appearance. And above all, she had just understood that power and status are not measured by pride, but by dignity and patience. The afternoon was progressing on the Ocean Pearl, but the atmosphere on board had radically changed. The guests whispered among themselves, some casting curious glances at Emma, who remained frozen behind the bar counter, unable to find her words. Captain Thomas Ridley entered the living room, visibly preoccupied. He approached Emma, his face grave. "Emma, I have to tell you something. Marcus Williams isn't just any guest." Emma, confused and slightly panicked, whispered, I don't understand." Thomas took a deep breath and opened an official file. "Marcus is the owner of this yacht. And not only that. He has invested millions in our fleet and oversees all operations. He is the man behind it. Ocean Pearl. Emma's world seemed to crumble around her. Her hands trembled slightly as she watched Marcus, sitting calmly on the upper deck, enjoying his own yacht as if nothing had happened. Every order she had given to expel him, every arrogant whisper from him, now came back like a painful boomerang. "Oh my God!" she murmured, unable to move. The captain, seeing the panic on his face, continued. "I know you meant well, Emma, but you've humiliated the landlord, and this mistake could have serious consequences for you." Emma felt her face turn crimson, shame overwhelming her. The guests' murmurs seemed to transform into accusatory echoes in her head. Every second she spent watching Marcus on the bridge reminded her of her mistake, his arrogance, his prejudices, his hasty decision. And as Marcus looked up at her, his gaze quiet, Emma knew she had just crossed a line she could never erase. The lesson would be painful, but inevitable. Karma had come knocking, and this time, it wouldn't take any detours. The hours passed, and the atmosphere on the Ocean Pearl was becoming increasingly heavy. Every step Emma took on the deck seemed to attract the attention of the guests and crew. The whispers, the sidelong glances, and the suppressed smiles created an almost unbearable weight on her shoulders. Captain Thomas Ridley summoned her to his locked office, away from prying ears. "Emma, you need to understand that your behavior was unacceptable." Emma lowered her head, unable to meet his gaze. I didn't mean to. I was just thinking." "Thinking isn't enough, Emma. You humiliated Marcus Williams in front of everyone. The owner of that yacht. And believe me, that's not something you can ignore." As she stood there, the office phone rang. Thomas picked it up and listened attentively. After a few seconds, he nodded and murmured, "Very well, so be it." He hung up and stared gravely at Emma. "You will have to apologize in front of all the staff and VIP guests. And know that you will be kept away from all important responsibilities for the rest of the day." Emma felt her heart sink. Every task she had accomplished that morning, every gesture of authority, every order given to the crew, was now fading into shame and regret. Even her colleagues, who until then had respected her, were looking at her with cold curiosity, some barely concealing their smiles. Later, Marcus appeared in the living room, still elegant and calm. The guests, aware of the situation, had moved closer to watch. Emma knelt almost instinctively before him, her hands trembling. "Mr. Williams. I am deeply sorry for what I did this morning." Marcus looked at her for a moment, his face impassive. Then, in a soft but firm voice, he said, "Emma, I don't need your submission. I only expect respect and dignity. It's not just a question of status or money, it's a question of humanity." Emma felt a wave of shame and relief mixed together. Lesson learned the hard way: dignity, respect, and patience are worth infinitely more than arrogance and prejudice. From that day on, she knew she would never again judge someone based on their appearance or status. And every time she saw Marcus on board, she would remember that humiliation, but also that invaluable life lesson. The sun was beginning to set over Miami, tinting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Ocean Pearl glided gently over the waves, but the atmosphere on board was far from peaceful. Emma Langston, still trembling with shame, was distractedly cleaning the deck, aware that every glance she received was a reminder of her terrible mistake. Marcus Williams, ever calm and elegant, approached her. His gaze was neither cruel nor condescending, but penetrating and firm at the same time. "Emma," he said gently, "I'm not here to punish you. But it's important that you understand why your behavior this morning was so problematic." Emma nodded, her throat tight, unable to speak. Marcus continues. "Hasty judgments and prejudices destroy trust and dignity. You thought you knew me through your eyes and preconceived ideas, and you were wrong." Emma felt tears welling up. She realized that this wasn't just a public humiliation, but a lesson in her entire worldview. Marcus, with quiet elegance, added, "But everyone deserves a second chance. I don't hold your mistake against you, Emma. What you do now, How you learn from your mistakes, that's what matters. In a surprising gesture, Marcus reached out to her. Come back tomorrow. Show me that you are capable of respecting others, regardless of their appearance or status. Emma took it hesitantly, the weight of shame mingling with a feeling of immense gratitude. This simple touch symbolized not only her redemption, but also the end of her arrogance. The guests, who had been watching the scene, relaxed and began to applaud lightly. The message was clear: respect and humility always triumph over arrogance and prejudice. As Marcus returned to his private lounge, Emma lingered on the deck for a moment, breathing deeply. The sea breeze brought her a sense of renewal. She now knew that every interaction with others should be guided by respect and dignity. A harsh lesson, but one she'll never forget. That day, Emma Langston changed forever. And the ocean pearl shining in the last rays of the sun, it became the silent witness to its transformation.